a little bit about the postpartum phase that nobody tells you just because they just assume you know. It's not true. As women in general, we tend to seek out help a little bit sooner than men. When it comes to giving birth and when it comes to not knowing what to do with this baby, we kind of keep quiet, ladies, don't you think? When in reality, we're suffering, and it could be that even our relationships are suffering, our confidence is going to suffer. So many times when people come to my office, they feel like they finally have caved in. They feel weak in a way, seeking help. Again, this is women seeking help for nipples that are gone, or just sleep deprived, or having those feelings that being a mom isn't fun. And that's true, and that can happen. Being a mom is hard work. It can kick our butts. These babies kick our butts. These children will kick our butts. And then we feel like, well, I should be able to handle it. I'm a woman. I birthed this baby. I created this baby. I birthed it. I'm breastfeeding. I'm doing everything I can. Then why is everything falling apart? And just admit and knowing that we're not going to be perfect the first time around. Whenever we go to school and have a new class, we are not experts. We're not usually even experts after the class. But we just get a little glimpse of how we're going to help. And so I want to keep that in mind, that when you leave the hospital, it's going to be a little bit stressful, but it doesn't need to be. There's lots of support groups out there. La Leche League is a great one. The healing group here, if you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, or in Utah County, where I live, then the healing group is a great resource, and to get out and have that support. But they're all over the place. Just Google something. And that postpartum phase is really interesting for some women. Sometimes your hair will fall out. Sometimes, again, your breast will leak during lovemaking, and people aren't going to tell you that either. Sometimes not. Sometimes people aren't going to, they're not going to tell you that they are going to tell you that nipple pain is normal when it's not. So if you've gotten through this without any nipple pain, then great, you're doing awesome. If you are still experiencing pain and you've gotten here, and if you haven't gotten help for that, it's time to get help. And do not live with pain. Because what happens, of what I see, is this correlation between sore nipples and some emotional trauma with mom. Not in every mom. And then every time that baby nurses, will bring back some, anxiety, like, I'm not enjoying this baby, which brings in a feeling of guilt and shame. Ladies, I'm going to tell you something to be upfront. I have not liked being a mom most of the time, especially when they're little. And I'm not even ashamed to say it. I know that my skills and my strengths are helping other women be as confident as they can. I didn't enjoy it, but was I a good mom then? I certainly was, and I don't have any regrets of redoing it and having to do things over. Are my 3 teenagers rockin' and the greatest? And everyone says, oh, the teenagers are the worst phase. They're not, actually. I love it. I love having that connection with them now because I had it early on with them. I had strengths that you didn't have, and you have strengths that I don't have. But the greatest news is that you have exactly what your baby and your kids need. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be. So there aren't any of this perfect mom expectations. This isn't like, oh, I can't get help and I can't admit that I have these feelings because then I will be considered, in the bad mom club. When in reality, it's normal. If we were just real honest with ourselves more, ladies, I think we would not have as much judgment on ourselves. So I can assure you that whatever you're feeling is normal. I just don't want you to stay in that negative emotion if you do have it. And if you find that you do need to talk to a therapist because the anxiety is increasing, then I would encourage you to do so. If you feel like you have anxiety, then you're going to tend to, again, be over vigilant with the baby, or you're going to ignore the baby altogether. So it's kind of those two things. And it will happen with sleep deprivation. So kind of keep that in mind. If it's been lasting longer than 2 weeks, we need to have you talk to somebody. If it's just, here and there, and maybe we just need to get you out of the house and have some sunshine and get your life back. So just wanted to let you know that there aren't really any baby instructions. There's some books out there, and that's great. I don't advocate the baby, Baby Wise. So I don't advocate that one, only because that one really tells you to ignore your baby and that you're in charge, when in reality, you really are going to be in charge, and you can still love your baby and still have the feelings that you're having all at the same time. When we get ourselves healthier with time, with the right support, then you're going to feel better. And so just know that the postpartum phase is just, again, it's a little bit different, and it's a little bit, you're going to feel fatigued. That's sort of normal, sort of not. Being fatigued comes from losing the blood in the pregnancy. Now, if those of you are in the delivery, those of you who are way past postpartum phase and still have lack of energy, then it's time to get your hormones checked by somebody who knows what they're talking about and knows who is actually a hormone specialist specifically for women's hormones. So you can start feeling better again. Don't ever settle for feeling bad. Don't ever settle for feeling like crap. And embrace this time so you can feel good. Now, those of you who are already feeling great, then awesome. Keep it up. And again, hopefully you're starting your mom time that I talk about in another video. So start that mom time now and daily, and know that you are already the best mom in the world for your baby.